Part 2 of the study guide. For the next one, we need to evaluate each expression. So there's some lines here to evaluate on. That means to solve. So negative 2 to the fourth power means negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. That's going to give us a positive 16. 3 to the negative third power. We learned that negative exponents can become positive fractions. So it's 1 over 3 to the third power, which equals 1 over 27. And negative 3 to the fourth power is negative 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Notice the negative is not in a grouping symbol. Therefore, the negative is just going to come along, come out front. So our answer will be negative 81. Now, put the given expressions in order from least to greatest. So our least one, or smallest one, is here. And then the next smallest would be the fraction. And then the largest or the greatest would be that last one. Question 11. Use the formula for area of a square. A equals side squared, or S squared. And you might be more familiar with area as length times width. If it's a square, the length and the width would be the same sides. We're going to find the length of each side of a square garden that has 225 square feet. If we know the area of a square, all we have to do is take the square root to find the side length. So by taking the square root of 225, we get 15. So our side length is 15. Now, this question doesn't ask for perimeter, but if it did, to find the perimeter, we would have to add up all of the sides. So in this figure, the perimeter would be 60 feet. But this question just asks for the side length. So again, if you know the area, you take the square root to get the side length. Question 12. Pluto has a diameter of 10,000 kilometers and Saturn has a diameter of 1,000,000. Write the diameter in exponential notation, or a power of 10 for each. So that means we take 10 and we have to figure out the exponent. The easiest way to do that is count the number of zeros. So for Pluto, it's 10, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, so it's 10 to the fourth power. For Saturn, right here, it's going to be 10, and then let's count the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 10 to the sixth power. It's that easy to express it with a power of 10. Now, what is the product of the diameters of both planets? So we're going to take both planets. Here's Pluto, and here is Saturn. And to find the product, that means a multiplication problem. Now this should look familiar. When the bases are the same and we're multiplying, we keep the base and we add the exponents. And the last question asks how many times as great is the diameter of Pluto to Saturn? So what would we times Pluto by to get Saturn? How many times as great? Often we set this up as a division problem. Quotient to powers says when the bases are the same, we keep the base and subtract the exponent. So Saturn is 100 times as great as Pluto, or 10 to the second power. Okay, the last one. This one is kind of complicated here. It says the side length of a cube is 3K millimeters. The cube has a volume of 3,375 cubic meters. Find the value of K. So coming into this should sound familiar to you. To find volume, it's length times width times height. For this problem, we know the volume. 3,375. But we also know the length and the width and the height. Since it's a cube, all of those measurements are going to be the same. 3K times 3K times 3K. So we're going to have to do some algebra here. Now I notice here that I have coefficients that are all the same. That's 3 to the third power. 3 times 3 times 3. So that would be 27. And then we have k to the third power. So we write that as k to the third. Keeping in mind that the volume is 3,375. Now we've condensed this to a one-step equation. This 27 next to the k, that coefficient next to the variable, indicates multiplication. To solve this, to get the k to the third by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 27. This gives us an answer of 125 for k to the third power. K to the third power means what times what times what gives us 125. That's the same as asking for the cubed root of 125. And the cubed root of 125 is 5. So for this final answer, the k, or the value of k, is 5. Again, I took the cubed root on that last step. To do that in your calculator again, you hit 3, second function, caret key, and then put in 125, and then I'll give you the answer of 5.